Hi Brenda, you're stepping into a new role that wasn't previously in the other show. So what's it like coming into this? But it's already got some sort of history. This is third wife. You're already married. So what's that like?
You know, it's nice to step into, oh my gosh, there's a man back there with Sue Whiskey. I will sign it. I will sign it. Make sure I get him. Okay. Hysterical. Oh my gosh. Haven't seen that in a few years. So you know, what's great is you have a pre-established family. So like any woman who marries into a new family, you have to kind of discover where the skeletons are and tread lightly. And at the same time, you know, she knows that JR is up to no good, and at the same time she wants to make sure that there's peace in the family. So Anne Ewing is the best of Bobby. She's got the heart, she's got the soul, and at the same time she's tough. She's a Texan woman, and she's not afraid to stand by her man and shoot anybody that gets too close.
What's it like filming in Dallas?
I loved it. I loved it. I wouldn't have wanted to shoot this anywhere else. You know, the city itself is another character. South Fork is a dream, being able to shoot out on the land and feel like we're part of a history there, and a legacy. You know, it's great to be here. It's nice to be able to kind of seamlessly come in and out of the city and feel like we're home. I literally, when I flew in, I felt like I was coming home. And I know that sounds strange, but this has become home for me. Yeah, I missed it. I'm glad I'm back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Julie. Nice to meet you. So tell me about the role that you play.
I play Rebecca Sutter, and who is engaged to Ross Ewing. And yeah, I'm a bit of a newcomer, so I'm new in the ranch, I'm new in the house, I'm new in everything, and just trying to find my little way.
So, are you a peacemaker or a troublemaker?
I don't know yet. I think we're all in the same boat. We're all like, don't know where we're going, but you know, like, we just try to make the writers proud because their writing is superb. So, but yeah, we don't know where it's going. It's exciting. It's exciting not to know.
How many episodes have you filmed so far?
We did 10. We did 10.
And is that going to be the whole season, or are you filming a couple more?
No, that's it. That's the first season.
So 10 episodes for the first season,
and then
hopefully a second.
Hopefully a second. And yeah, we'll see if people really like it. If people want us to come back, I think we all want to come back.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Hopefully, if it's well received. Yeah.
Thank you.
So watch it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
So what's it like coming into this epic show that already has this established fan base?
It's exciting. I mean, I felt like Larry, Linda, and Patrick their baby, and they kind of like lay the groundwork, and they're like, yeah, you can come on. And we're like, and now hopefully we get into races as well. And Cynthia wrote an amazing script. I'm shooting her basically after every episode, which is awesome. So I think, you know, we'll see how it turns out, but I'm really...
Are you going to be a conniving ex-fiance, or are you a...
potential in that movie on Dallas, but I don't know. I am with two different stories, so that's conniving.
And very quickly, Fast and the Furious, you doing another one?
There are 6 is in the works. Nothing's officially yet.
Okay.
That'll be really fun.
All right. Thank you so much. Sarah Ksiazek, last one. What's it like to step back into this character again after 20-some-odd years?
Like a license to steal.
Are you having fun? What's it like to be back in Dallas, actual city?
Oh my God, look at the day, how nice it is.
Yes, it is.
Yesterday it was 94 degrees. It rained last night and it's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like I ordered.
And you were born in Fort Worth, correct? So
For a day.
For a day.
Then I moved to Rutherford.
Okay.
In those days it's walking up.
Yeah, yeah.
We're watching you on video.
Thanks guys, there you go.
Can I get a quick question with you?
Sure.
What's it like playing John Ross Ewing?
Most fun in the world. I mean, I don't think you could really kind of take on a role for the new Dallas than more fun and more exciting than John Ross playing JR's son. I was so excited about just what was going to come of this and how much wheeling and dealing he and I were going to do together. So it's just a blast.
And you're from Dallas,
I am.
correctly? So what's it like being in the Dallas show and you're from here?
It's surreal.
Did you ever imagine you would do
It's a dream
that?
come true, really. Like, how did this happen? You know, it's very much a dream come true. And I took it really seriously, and I'm so honored. I mean, I got to come home and shoot the show that put this city on the map worldwide in a positive light. So it's the best thing ever.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes.
Sure. Taking on the embodiment of Bobby, obviously, being his son. What's that like for you stepping into something that's so iconic like that, and how do you balance that with kind of making it your own thing?
Well, you know, the characters of Christopher and John Ross were introduced in the original series, but there's not a lot of information to draw on. You don't see the type of people that they were becoming. You know, they were just babies in the original series. So it's really a blank canvas. You know, so I got to make a lot of choices about the character for myself. You know, and I wasn't restricted by what had happened in the original series, much like the original characters are. They have to stay in line with their character. But what was the rest of your question?
Well, I guess what I'm also curious about is, did you have any apprehension about stepping into a show that people have such a strong bond with?
Initially, I had big apprehension. You know, I didn't know if it was a good idea to remake such an iconic show. And such a show that was so quintessentially 80s. I didn't know how they were going to pull that off. You know, but then once I read Cynthia Cesar's pilot episode, and I saw how she bridged that gap, how it was a continuation, as though the cameras weren't rolling for 20, 21 years, you know, and how she set up all these amazing storylines in the pilot episode, and how she, you know, wrote these rich, complex, dynamic characters. I was like, yeah, this is something I would definitely like to be a part of.
So did you go Netflix all the old episodes leading up to this?
Yeah, well, you know, I got like the season 1, season 2 box set and started there. You know, watch scenes online. I mean, you know, I definitely have barely chipped into the 350 some odd episodes that are out there. You know, but I've watched a nice chunk of them. You know, to really get a sense of the tone of the original series, and you know, I think they've really transitioned in the new series perfectly.
All right, man.
What's it like to step back into this character after 20-some odd years?
Well, I think if I were playing more of a character role, it might be a little different. But Bobby was pretty much, you know, an ordinary guy with a few $1 billion. If you can be ordinary with a few $1 billion. But, I mean, in terms of his character, he was just a good guy who tried to hold his family together. So it wasn't a stretch to come back to work. What it was is emotionally really interesting.
Yeah.
Emotionally, to step on the set with my two best friends that I've had for 30 plus years, Larry and Linda, and be able to work with them again was, I had to hold on to things for a while, the first couple of scenes, just because it was emotionally very, very touching for me. And then we got used to it, and we said, here we are, back to work. You know?
What about the younger generation that's going to be watching? Because they're actually not going to recognize you from the original Dallas show. Right. People my age, they're going to recognize you as the dad from Step by Step.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
So,
hopefully they'll let that go right away.
So, do you think the younger generation is going to take to this
I do,
show?
and the reason I think so is a lot of our young actors on the show have shown the pilots and the first 7 episodes, which we all have copies of, to their friends who have no idea who the original Dallas cast is or should be. And they like the show by virtue of what the show is. They didn't know it was Bobby and JR and Sue Ellen from 30 years ago. They just went, this is a good show. Look at the old people, this, that, and the way it's filmed and the script. So it stands on its own merits.
So it's easy to step right into it. You don't have to watch any of the other...
You don't have to know the history of Dallas to enjoy the show. If you do know the history of Dallas, you enjoy it that much more. Yeah. Because you obviously were a fan in those days. But you don't need to in order to be surfing right along with the energy of the show.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.